go here, it's not 0.7, but the way we have set up the camera here in the viewport, it's 0.7 here. Okay, 0.7. But 1920 into 1080 is not 0.7 image aspect ratio, it's 16:9. So it's going to render black screen on the right and black screen on the left. But to render exactly the way we are seeing here and the proportion and the aspect ratio we want, we have to pay attention on few things. And the first thing is, I've already told you all, like in Cine Camera Actor, we go down here, and then here constant aspect ratio has to be switched off. Main point. And then you have to, second point is, for rendering this exact dimension, you have to go make sure what is the ratio of our scene here. Okay, so if it was like this, you just brought the entire everything here, set it up here, and then now you can just do like this experiment, okay, the way you want your aspect ratio, and then you have to finalize it one specific value. So two values are specified. We have to render it in 1920, and the aspect ratio has to be 0.7. So now when we have this, we now need to find the value of the height. For that, we can go in max, and then here we will type 0.7 image aspect ratio, and the width is 1920, and then it will automatically give you the height of the render. So this is the height of the render which we need to put it here in Unreal Engine. Okay, so when we go here, we'll set it Control V and then 27. So 1920 on aspect ratio 0.7. If we have to render it in 1920 with this portrait effect we want, then it has to be 27 and 43. Okay, so now we have set it up properly. And now we can also go here in use custom frame rate, since it's an image, so we don't care about it, but just for your references, I'm letting you know here. And also here in 30 fps, you go here and clock source, like clock source should be relative time code. Okay, but since it's an image, this is also doesn't matter, and this also doesn't matter. The most, whatever matters the most is this height of the output resolution based on the portrait effect you are looking for. And then we'll go here, save preset, and then save it as like 2K. Now it's 1K, so 1K underscore. Then click save, click accept. When we go here in movie render queue, we can also save this, okay, for your instances, like here underscore tutorial, so that we just had so that we don't have to go ahead and set up everything again and again. Okay, by default it's going to save in the projects movie render queue folder, is this folder. It's automatically going to save here. So anti-aliasing, game overrides, high resolution, this is optional. Game override is also optional, but you have to keep this. Anti-aliasing, why I have kept this 32 into 32, I'm going to explain you next. Since we have to render it in path tracing, so we are using path tracing. Now when we go here, when we multiply 32 by 32, 32 into 32 is equal to 1024. Okay, so these are basically 1024 samples. Why we have given 1024 samples? Because this project we are going to render it in path tracing. So now let's go ahead and take care about the post process volume. When I double click on post process volume, I come here in path tracing, and these are the values which I have put for the path tracing. So max bounds is 7, sample per pixel is 32. This 32 is the sample per pixel for the viewport. So if I go here and change it to path tracing, so this is just for the, I can go here and then make it movable light to movable. So we can go here and movable point lights, movable. Since this is a dynamic scene, you can just ignore this. Lighting needs to be rebuilt, but if you want to get override of this message, you have to go here, open level blueprint, and then you have to like just right click and execute console command, put it up here. Now go to Google, this type disable all screen messages. Don't worry the spelling, Google is going to correct the spelling for us. So now you have to copy this, disable all screen messages, and then go here, type this here, click compile, and then save, and then just click play forward, or maybe you can here click simulate. Now that message, very simple way, remove that message. So now let's continue on the post process volume. In post process volume in path tracing, I have kept the max bounds to 7. Why? Because in real world the light does not bounce for more than 7 to 14 or maybe 15, someone says until 12. So light, whenever light falls on the earth, it's not going to bounce, or whenever there is a light which is being illuminated in a scene, it's not going to bounce for more than 7 to 15 or 12 times, and then the light will decay or die, the light power will be decayed. So having it to 32 and then 100 is just waste of time and resource for rendering. You will get exact same result because the path tracing is the most accurate and the most similar to the realistic world. The everything it does is real, like same as real world. So in real world, 7 times bounce is more than enough for hitting the light in for global illumination on the other surfaces, and then they will generally die after 7 times hitting the surfaces 7 times. Okay, for that I have kept it 7. You can keep it 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Going more than 12 or 15 is just, I don't know why people will do, but if you want you can. Sample per pixel for this viewport. So if I go ahead and then zoom in, zoom out, whatever the calculation goes on here. So this is just for the viewport, not for the rendering. Okay, and now whenever I move it, I have this progress bar, because when I go here, open level blueprint, here you see all force, all ray tracing effect is on, and here r dot path tracing dot progress displays 1. This progress display 1 means whenever I will move my viewport, the calculation for the path tracing will happen. So this is 32. emissive material, I have switched it on. By default it is on only, but you can keep it off. So when you keep it off, this light is not going to emit light. Which light? The light present inside this. So this is not emitting light, it's just looking like it's emitting, it's not emitting light. Okay, but when you switch this on, then that object is also emitting the light in the scene, which makes, according to me, makes the result better. Okay, so I will again like this. So we go again we go here in post process volume, emissive material. I kept it on because I want the internal light to emit light, and then denoiser, it's on, because if it's off, then you have to give a lots insane amount of sample per pixel. Okay, so now let's go to the sample per pixel. So this is 32 for this, but when we have to render it, we need more than 32. Okay, for that we have given here in anti-aliasing 32 into 32. So these two values multiplied which with each other is the value of sample per pixel in rendering, not in viewport. Okay, here whatever value you put 1024, it's going to be value for the viewport. But here you have, if you have to give it like sample per pixel has to be 1024 for your render, then you have to multiply these two values and the equals should be 1024. So I multiply it by 32 by 32 is 1024. You can multiply it by 64 into something and then make it 1024. Maybe 50 or 512 into 2 and then it will be 1024. It's up to you how you want to multiply this value. The resultant value is going to be your sample per pixel for your renders. Okay, and this override anti-aliasing should be on at any cost. So I hope you all understand all these things. So as you can see, we are almost ready for the rendering of final image. If you want to go ahead and you can just select the materials and then you can play with the materials, play with the opacity, or play with anything you want. You have to just make sure if you are like switch it off and then go here, zoom in and then look through whatever. If you find some needs to improve, that is very important. And like when you think everything is okay and then ready, now you have to go in camera cuts and then here, and then we have to render one image. For rendering one image, just one image, we have to go in movie render queue. We have to go in the settings, go in output, and here use custom playback range. Switch it on, make this one, make this two. So it's going to render just frame number one, or it will render frame number two, but it will not render more than one image. Okay, and here when you go, we are having range from 0 to 5. So instead of giving 1 and 2 for rendering a single image, you can go here and type 2 and 3. It will render either 2 or either 3 of the image. I'm not sure which one it will render, but it will render just one image between 2 or 3, whatever. It doesn't matter for me because the both image will be the same. Okay, so here proper like resolution is set, anti-aliasing has been set to 32, game override has been set, high resolution screenshot has been set, just to be sure everything is going to work the way we need and everything is going to be perfect. And then how the camera aspect portrait has to be, I will switch this anti-aliasing off just to render the image for the first time as fast as possible. So I will accept this. You can go here and then save it, or not this. Yes, yes, click yes, and then here you can go here, save this also. Real. Now I will render it, but remember this anti-aliasing I have switched off to render it once for seeing how the like everything is behaving properly or not. So as you can see, it rendered very fast. If I go here and see the image, so it's like looking the way we are looking for. So this is just a low quality. Now we'll go ahead and render the high quality one. I will delete this or I will leave it as it is. Now for the high quality, and I'll go here and just rotate the camera a little bit. So for that I'll go here in outliner, right click, switch off the lock camera movement, select this camera. I will little bit, I will bring back this